Ian, what's going on, my friend?
Good, Justin. How are you? Good morning or good afternoon at this point.
That is very true. Good afternoon. I am doing great, my friend. Thanks for asking. Posy, how are you doing?
So far, so good, man. How you feeling?
Posy on the case, right?
That's it.
Well, it is cold here in Colorado. I don't know where it is everywhere else, but we are seeing some fun weather.
A little chilly, but I'm sure it can't compare.
Well, we'll give everybody a minute or two to jump on. I'm excited for today, though, because we're unpacking, the final part of, what Tom teaches when it comes to market intelligence. And, I think for a lot of us, what we covered last week, just a means of where do I gather this information? I watched the National Housing Market update from Keeping Current Matters yesterday. And, it was a very interesting message as it was a new year. It was January. And then two quick stories. I have a client in Los Angeles, serves a luxury market. He was submitting a offer on a $1.2 million property this past weekend. They came in at 1.9 and still didn't win. So, the markets are definitely different, as many of you come from all across the nation. But as we look at what's happening in January with the inventory, definitely some challenges. But the one part that I liked about the National Housing Market update for January with Keeping Current Matters was they talked about unlocking equity is going to be how people make decisions throughout 2022. So that's a little bit of what we'll talk about today. Lacey, good to see you. Happy Thursday. So again, if you don't have this, I can send it to you, but this is just, as Tom teaches, the 8 levels of performance. This is really taking the foundations part of it. And how do we make sure that we just have a great foundation, expand upon, all the other levels of our business. And so I'm going to share my screen real quick. But before I do, throw in the chat box for me where you give the most attention when it comes to social platforms. Javier, welcome. So what I mean by that is like YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Throw in the chat where you give the most attention to. And we could use attention as time for sure. Posy, Instagram, Michael, Instagram, Lacey, Facebook. Let's see here. All right, Ian said Facebook. I like it. So let me share my screen with everybody. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Awesome. So here it is. As Tom's talking about the attention share, and now this was in August of 2020. So can some of these things change? Most definitely. But when you look at the percentages of them, I look forward to getting more updates as we come into 2022. But you could see the number one area that people provided their attention to was YouTube. So attention, we can relate to time, just the amount of time spent on the platform was YouTube. I have a team in Dallas that does a lot of work on YouTube, and the amount of organic business that they drive from their YouTube channel that they've only been working on for the last year is upwards and over 100 million sales volume just from the YouTube channel that the team leader created. So team leader or individual agent, all the same, because the idea is one person. I will, in the recap, send you a link to some of his courses, classes, things he teaches. So that way, if one of the areas you guys want to focus on this year is YouTube, he can definitely help you out. But as we look at the attention share, the big 3 winners of time, YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, then we get into Amazon, Instagram, Hulu, Snapchat, and Twitter. And so as you look at video preferences, though, this is a very interesting one. So just raise of hand by anybody who just struggles a tiny bit, like with what should I put out there in means of what would people find of value? Like I'm a little struggling on just what type of video should I do? All right, so I'm not the only one. Here's the nice part is as you guys make past client follow-up calls, you're talking to your sphere, you're using Tom Ferry's script just really around the hey, Lacey, Justin over at ABC Homes, do you have a quick minute? Sure. Well, just so you know, I'm talking to a lot of people right now and they're asking a lot of questions. So I was reaching out to see, do you have any real estate related questions that I can answer right now? And if they do, the awesome part is you're already talking about real estate, the goal that most of us have. If they don't, now you can kind of find out what type of videos, if I'm putting these out to my sphere, past clients, audience, how can I find out what would be relative to them, at least in this middle one? Meaning if 53% of the population says, I do want informative. I do find this funny because they say, you know what? Inspiring, there's enough of that going around. Meaning that 27% of people are looking to us for inspiration versus, all right, a lot's going on in the world. We need to smile and laugh a little bit more. I would like some entertainment. So again, when we think about reels or, gosh, I mean, do these things really work? TikTok and, people are just kind of, pointing at certain facts and stats about what's happened in the market or real estate or what happens, when people buy something and, they are already approved and messed up, their credit score or their ratings. I guess you're right. People want to be entertained right now. But then the other part is they do want to be informed. So when you ask that question after people say, you know what? No, I don't really have any real estate related questions right now, Ian. And you followed up with, all right, Posy, well, just so you know, I'm hearing a lot of stuff out there. People are seeing things on the news. They're listening to social media, their friends. What are you hearing about the real estate market? This is where you can start gathering motivation for your video. So as Tom says, hey, every day, morning routine, crush that 5-5-4, 5 new people you talk to, 5 past clients, 4 leads you're following up with. By asking this question there, hopefully then you have a motive to take that day's relative information to act upon your video. You know what? Are you a person who thinks that's very hard to buy a home right now in the market and that's what's preventing you from selling? Oh my gosh, that's me. I'm listening. And now you can start sharing more stuff that I just talked to 7 people today and 6 of them told me that's exactly how they feel. Now, one of the things that they did tell me they believe in is that they would love to get a new home. It's just they're not confident that they're going to be able to find one and they don't want to lose the home that they have. Now I could insert, a process, a product, a solution, something. And if that's your audience and they're going, gosh, you know what? Thank you for being entertaining. Thank you for being informative. You know what? You caught my attention by being a little funny. Maybe I'm going to click on that ad. Maybe I'm going to keep following you a little bit more. The reality is you're speaking the language I'm looking for on what I'm trying to learn. So now that you guys hopefully have some information today around, what was stopping me from doing more video was just, I didn't know what are people, their preferences. Well, here they are. They are liking things that are funny, making them laugh. They are liking to be entertained. All right. Amusing them a little bit. And they definitely like information. The rest of it, you can kind of see, hey, live does that really matter to me if you go live? Tom's saying, gosh, you know what? 21% of people we surveyed, that's not that important. So hopefully now you have an idea around what are some of the things you can do with video. My goal for today, guys, in a short period of time is to help you start with just this one. Meaning Tom says, Hollywood called, you need a video show. Mark, you know so much. All right, Jay, you've got a great personality. You can entertain people for days. All right, Lacey, you are funny. There's a lot that each of you guys have that allows you to figure out, you know what? I'll bring my style. Maybe I need to change it a little bit. So then that way people's preferences fit a little bit more because I do want their attention. I want their time. But the one that I want you to take away based off what the housing market is showing right now, concluding with what we talked about on Tuesday, which is just where do I find this intelligence? Where's this information? Because I'm pretty sure either A, other people are getting it, and that's leading their decision, or B, they don't have it, and that's why they're not making a decision. So what we want to do is make sure that, hey, if I can get your attention in time, I can do this in a way that allows you to be educated around certainty on what's happened in the market. And one of the best ways to do this, like Tom was saying, was create a video show. Now, one of the things that I love the most, And my suggestion for everybody, just because I get the opportunity to be your performance coach, is I like the This Week in Housing that Tom does. Now, I know it's not necessarily maybe the funny show. I know that might not be your entertaining show, but it's the one that he's saying 50%, meaning 1 out of every 2 people you choose to talk to today would like to be informed. So now you could go, you know what? Maybe I'm not ready to be a show person yet, but as a real estate advocate, as a fiduciary, my duty to the public is to inform them on what's really happening in the housing market. Okay. So as your coach, and my goal is just saying, you know what? If I haven't started a show, every one of us just starts This Week in Housing, and you can put whatever title you want at the top of it, right? Like, what the heck is happening? ... This Week in Housing, you know, whatever you wanted your show or your title to be. But thumbs up, would you guys agree? You know what? I know we're all busy, but this probably would benefit me if every single week over the next 52 weeks, people heard from me saying, here's what's happening in housing this week. Would that be a benefit to you and the public? Okay, I agree. So as we look at this, we say, well, gosh, you know what kind of, things can I do? So Tom, what he loves about the ecosystem is introducing you to what other great people are doing, so you can just rip off and duplicate. When you go to any of Tom's events, it's really good because people are there just sharing. They're like, you know what, man, we're all part of this top 1% group. Here's Tom Toole. Here's what he's doing. So I want to give you some names so that way you guys can go search them and just say, you know what, I'm going to rip that off. So Tom Toole, gosh, Mark knows his dad. So me and Mark, as we're talking, been in the industry for a while, and, he knows his father. But here's what Tom is doing really, really well, is just that he's consistently educating people on the market. Now, he's also educating them on certain processes and things that people can do. All right, Carrie Ann, 87% of licensed agents fail. She's educating the public and the market on just why these things happen. So then that way, again, she is looked at as a professional and educating people on the difference of what people are doing. Inhale, Exhale show with Tyler Whitman. If you've been to some of Tom's prior summits, this guy's videos are like second to none. He's the one that did that Duffy video, and he was selling a multi-million-dollar property on a lakefront somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but he did the Duffy video with the boats, and it just took off, right? So again, just good people to go check out for inspiration. But then the second thing Tom's saying that you could do for video that all of us do is get B-roll or a vault. So all of you guys have like Gmail Drive or Dropbox or something. What he's saying is, you know what? You post every video in that Dropbox that you've ever done. So, Ronnie's doing some great work with his like 30 videos in 30 days, just 30, 60-second videos. Posy, man, your B-roll vault is like second to none, my friend. Like, if you guys follow Posy, he is just on fire when he's on video. Okay. It's just, you're like, man, I wish I could perform like that guy. Now, what's interesting about it is if Posy took all his stuff and just put it in one folder, and then remember, you can use like Upwork, you can use Fiverr. All right. I had a coaching client the other day. It was like, this was the best thing you ever gave me. They did my PDF for $5. It would have taken me 2 hours, right? Like, he was just like, this is awesome. I open houses. Now I went door knocking instead of being a video editor. Yes, as a real estate agent, the door knocking is probably more relevant for him versus the video editing. So Upwork, Fiverr, you could say, hey, here is my folder. You got a ton of just camera roll of me. I want you to do some B-roll or vault, which is basically when your video is going and then it stops and it rolls over to just like a series of things or other clips or other videos that you've done. So by creating a video archive, you could talk to a VA or somebody on Fiverr that does video editing, say, hey, I want you to take this video and add some B-roll to it. Here's all of, my videos in a vault. Just choose some stuff that's relevant. So when Tom was saying that people are giving their preference to entertainment, that's a little bit of how do you add more entertainment value to your video in general, is by adding some of this other video work to it. Now, the third one he was saying is take viewers behind the scenes. So the interesting part is, for a lot of us, when we're talking about, you know what, Justin, gosh, I like that slide you showed at the beginning, of the segment today, funny, entertaining, informative. Okay. I'm not funny, I got 4 kids, business, life,
Okay.
people. Sometimes I
Good.
feel like I need to work on being a little bit more funny. Some people are
Good
really
enough.
good at being funny. Some, you know what I mean? It's natural to them. I know that I could work on being a funnier guy. So, well, what about entertainment then? Well, entertainment, okay, well, I don't know how to be I'm a performer. What do I do for entertainment? This is what Tom's saying. Taking people behind the scenes is entertaining, meaning, do you want to see what really goes on when getting a home ready to sell? And now your video is more about, and why I say this is relevant. Every one of you guys, because you're top performers, have a listing appointment coming up sometime somewhere. And if I just had my camera and I just said, hey guys, if you ever wondered what the heck we really do as real estate agents getting homes ready, let me show you. I got a client that is taking her pig with her. She's equestrian and sells a lot of equestrian community. And she's got a pig called Spice. And we're really working on her doing video. If you want to check her out, her name is Heather Crabtree. I told her she doesn't do 10 videos this week. She's going to have to literally eat Spice's food. That was kind of, Mark, you and I know this. We've done challenges. Like, what's the challenge if you don't do your assignment? Okay. Like, there has to be a consequence. So for all of us, the nice part about this is just, okay, Justin, thank you. Tom, this makes sense. Entertainment doesn't necessarily mean like, I need to be an entertainer. It's just, what do people find that's entertaining? Boom. Behind the scenes, take them there. That's a lot of what people are liking in means of what they consider entertainment. The FAR group, they're great to follow. If you want to kind of just see, they do a lot of the behind the scenes on their Instagram. You've seen Tom share with them on stage at some of his events. And I think I sent these slides, but would you guys like me to include these in when I send the kind of Tuesday recap with the videos? Okay, cool. I'll attach the slides. Yeah. Now what Tom's saying is, okay, optimize every post when you're doing video. So again, we're going back to that slide, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. How can I optimize these 3 things? I'm not going to go through this too much because this is almost like you could do a whole course on optimization of videos. But I do just want to share with you what Tom means in if you want to get this out to more attention, right? Meaning more people that will give you their time. Here's what he's saying, and you'll have this in the slide. And this is where you could work with your marketing people. Let's just say you decided I'm going to do a weekly video. I'm going to send it to somebody at Upwork or Fiverr or my VA. Well, now here's kind of the video optimization. Hey, I want you to do what's the best user tagging? What's the keyword tagging? But the other part, just so you guys all know, is Google is our best friend. Obviously, YouTube gets the most share. If you literally just go to it and say, what is the best user tagging for a YouTube video in Arizona? You'd be amazed that like right there, all of a sudden you're like, well, that was pretty easy. Here's the user tagging they'd recommend. And I'm going to use a different example. That wasn't the right one. Keyword tagging. User tagging is who's in the video with you. So Google won't know that, but Google would know, hey, what is the best keyword tagging for a YouTube video in PA, in Washington, in, you know what I mean, Arizona. But so here's a lot of things he's saying to optimize the video: user tagging, keyword tagging, location tagging, hashtags, titles, headlines. And so the cool part is for a lot of you guys in Illume, and I'll actually attach this part of the recap too, is that in Illume under your resources, Jay Abraham posted the top 1,000 headlines for direct response marketing. So Jay Abraham was one of the smartest person in the 90s, considered sought after for marketing. And he put in there, like just these are the best headlines for email marketing, titles, headlines, things like that. So as Tom's sharing video engagement, he's saying, okay, 70% of the attention and the engagement's in the first minute. So as you guys are working on your 60-second video, your 30-second video, you guys know Dennis Yu really talks about that kind of $1 a day Facebook, Instagram marketing, but using 30 to 60 seconds is because after that, we're going to lose a lot of their attention. So really focusing on while you're using Instagram, Facebook, as Lacey, you're saying, hey, Facebook right now, Instagram here. It's the same for YouTube. You really want that first minute to catch people's attention. And you have those 4 things that we talked about, right? You got the hook, ignite the pleasure or pain, talk about how you solve the problem, and then provide a call to action. As you use those 4 things in the first minute, let's just say you're doing a YouTube video, the call to action is just join me over the next couple minutes while I tour you through this magnificent $4 million property in blank. You kind of see how you're still calling them or asking them to do something. So now as we look at, okay, this is where their time goes. Here's just an example. You could see Jason Pantana, who runs Tom's Marketing Edge. He was just sharing, you know what? Here's what I was doing at a seminar in Colorado, but I'm tagging Tom, I'm tagging the other person, I'm tagging AJ, who basically filmed all this, and now better performance optimization of the post. Okay, so you guys think about your videos or ads, tag the homeowner, tag, you know, some people on your team, things of the such that are part of this process. Here he goes when he was talking about headlines, what your parents capitalized, failed to tell you. So instead of the new formula for listing agent success, or I think this video is the new formula for success is really what it is. But his headline was what your parents failed to tell you. That sounds a lot more catchy, right? There's a hook there. Like, you know what? We all have parent problems or people problems or whatever. I've got that. Now you've got my attention. Okay, new formula for success. This was one where Tom talked about wealth management. Now, as you look at Taylor DiCarlo, a lot of people admire her. She does a lot of great work on video. So again, whether you're in the Tom Ferry organization or not, you're able to follow along with these people, but you kind of see there's all of her hashtagging, right? So she's got all these different hashtags. Same thing with Google. You'll be amazed at what you find. What are the best hashtags for real estate videos in Arizona, in Wisconsin, in Denver? And you'll find out there is a ton of free resources. They're just like right here, click on it, and you can just put those into your posts. And now guess what? You've got a little bit better optimization. Might not be perfect, but it's better, right, than it was just posting that video. Pazzi, I saw your chat on the headlines. Yeah, I'll send that to you, my friend. It's in your resources in Illume under the marketing. Like if you went to the top search button, it says marketing and content, video content. And in there's like 14 docs, and one of them's the top 1,000 headlines. Here you could just see subtitles and captions. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of blow through this real quick. This was the optimization he was talking about, making sure you have the right bumpers, making sure you have the right cards in place. So that way, if people watch one of your videos, you know what I mean, they have the other options to go do other things. A lot of that's more YouTube. But if you start looking at, you know, the video optimization, is so much of it is going to be learned over time, right? Just meaning as you're starting to learn more of your marketing, you're optimizing, we start improving that. But this is the one that I really like. It's just, okay, 2 of you guys, when I asked, hey, where are you at mostly? Instagram, got a couple Facebooks. Like I said, got some teams that are just, I mean, beyond, you know, successful with YouTube and finding a lot of success there. But we already know that's kind of what Tom's talking about, right? We need to be on YouTube. We need to be on social, but at the end of the day, he just wants us to do more video that's relative to what your consumers, customers, and people are looking for. So IGTV, everything, all right? So this is the part where you could follow Tom. He does a great job with it. As you start looking at other people doing a good work, this is just a gentleman organization, but look at his attractiveness to how he's getting these put on his IGTV, on his stamps. So if you went to his page, you could kind of see, you know, you're like, wow, you got a theme. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be impressive. And once you have one of them done, then you can just ask somebody to do that or copy it, right? So Lacey, you have your VA, you go, hey, I want you to literally copy Taylor's, you know what I mean, stamps. And that's how the start of all of our stuff is going to be for every IGTV video I do. Cool. Now you got this nice and easy. You delegated work so you can focus on your higher and better use of time. But here's just some good things. Is it time to refi? 3 kick-ass realtor tips. Why does title matter? So you could see entertainer, most definitely. The guy, you know what I mean? If you listen to him speak, you see him, he's an entertainer, but really he's just informing. This just flows right back to all this stuff. It's just certain information that he's sharing. Now, as we start looking at, you know, what are some of the other things through IGTV, is just if you guys follow Reels and you follow IGTV, your views are pretty good in it. You know, just you do a reel and you get 240 views, a lot more plays coming through those than, you know what, I posted a video on my Facebook page and for some reason they're making it really hard. I got like 20 views. Now, Posse's an entertainer, right? So he gets like 2,000 and, you know, makes his coach look bad. But the nice part is that coaching is not about me being better than you at what you do. It's about me getting the most value out of what you do and helping hold you accountable to accomplishing your goals, right? But I do love following him because he makes me feel insecure about my videos. But at the end of the day, I know that leadership example, it's not about how many likes I get. It's about me saying, hey, Lacey, as your coach, if your coach is doing it, right, you better be doing it. So good job to every one of you guys who continue to just utilize what Tom's talking about in that too, making sure I'm getting my video done. And so now the last part is just, like you said, one-on-ones, lives, but ask me anything. This is the one I think a lot of people can kind of take away is some of you guys have bomb. You know, Jay, even think like your position as a growth developer is just, what's my call to action in everything I do? You know, if I'm following up with agents and, you know, connecting with them, if they trust me, hopefully in time, when I just say, ask me anything. Hey, you know, it's great talking with you today. Follow up with me, ask me anything, anytime, and I'll get back with you. And all of a sudden people start, gosh, you know, I see you do that all the time. I maybe was nervous the first time to ask, but I'll do it now. So what Tom's just saying is like, you could see here's what's been holding you back from level 10. This was to all us, his coaching clients, right? And just people in general, meaning what's holding you back from living level 10? Ask me anything. And you can see he just went live, started talking, but the whole theme of him being live for that period of time was ask me questions, right? Ask me anything you want. And therefore I will try to help you if something's holding you back. So again, for a lot of us, that could be as simple as ask me anything about real estate, going live, you know what I mean? Talking for a little while, bringing up topics. Are you like many people I'm talking to right now? I talked to 3 people this morning. They told me that the rates and the change in rates was something that was, you know, kind of holding them back. How many of you guys have questions about rates? You know, all of a sudden somebody's like, you know, gosh, I actually do. What do you think is going to happen with them in Q2? Now, the nice part is if you follow Keeping Current Matters and what we talked about on Tuesday, they actually have, here's what we think is going to happen in Q1, Q2, Q3, and it's from the 4 major banking associations and their predictions. So again, the last one's just kind of saying, hey, you know what? Ask me anything. And here's some great examples of just on your stories, right? How can I help you today? Have a question or problem we should solve? There it is. You know what I mean, Jay? Hey, ever thinking about struggling in real estate as an agent? Ask me anything. I'd love to help. Question mark. You know what I mean? So now as you go here, hired my first virtual assistant, thanks to MJ. How do I best utilize them? So now he's bringing topics up. You know what I mean? So like, do you have a home that you need to sell and you want to go buy? Not sure how to do it? Ask me anything. So the point of all of this is just, gosh, you know what? If I'm not at the level of performance I want, meaning I want more deals, raise your hand. Yes. Okay. I want more money. Raise your hand. Yes. I want more ease in my business. Raise your hand. Yes. This is just the purpose of today is to remind video, social, education is a foundation of our real estate business. Once we get past this becoming easier for us to do, we get to move on to all the other things that we care about doing much, much more. And that's the goal for all of us, right? When it comes to our business and life. So any questions on video before I close real quick with just a little bit of what's happening in the market and a prediction I have on what people are going to need in 2022 if we don't have inventory relief. Questions or anything on the video that I can help with? You can throw in the chat. You can just speak, right? Take yourself off mute.
Hey, Justin, I got a question.
Yeah.
So I do more on what do you call it, on Instagram now and going towards a lot of vertical video. However, I would love to tap back into the YouTube side of things, which is obviously horizontal video. Any ideas or suggestions or anything that you've heard out there about either shooting both at the same time or just shooting, what do you call it? Horizontal video, landscape video, and then chopping it up, you know, some of it or using it for YouTube and then have it cut down to 50 size of a vertical video on Instagram? Any just ideas around that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
So if anybody's taking notes, the highest level digital marketers following this information, vertical equals trust, horizontal equals advertisement. Okay, so what they're saying is on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook specifically, they have had so much advertisement, ads, people have been spammed with so much that they associate the full screen horizontal as an ad. The vertical is almost like reality TV, meaning they know this isn't an ad. So there's a higher level of engagement and watch time on vertical videos. So now what Posse's asking is in digital marketing, they also talk about, which is what we're doing, they talk about awareness. Jason Pantana talks about this a lot. He says, how can agents get on the consideration set, all right, versus the awareness set? Now, I know that you're an agent, but how do I consider using you, right? So awareness is a lot of what Posse's talking about. It's a lot of your why videos, why you do what you do. Check me out with Spice the Pig. Here's a picture of me and my family. Here's a picture of me and my client. Just a lot of storytelling around why you do what you do, the heartfelt side. And just for all of you guys who have your business plan, this is in your values, right? That first page in your foundations, this is you sharing your values, your mission, your beliefs, you know, what really matters for you as a real estate agent. That should be vertical. Okay, so that way people know this is not an advertisement. I just want you to be aware of our values as an organization, a team, people. So I want you to listen to this. I'm not trying to sell anything. Now, when Posse gets into them considering you, that's when now I know who you are, okay? And now you're starting to tell me how to do things. Have you ever wondered how to fix your car? Have you ever wondered how to buy a home when you have a home to sell? So again, if you're storytelling Posse, meaning like you're not going to do any product or anything else or call to action, you're just literally educating, vertical will be great on Instagram and Facebook, okay? Now, when you start going, it's time to sell, that's where most of your ads are, but that's because now they already know you, they already know how you do things, so now you're going to ask them to do something, and a lot of those could be more professional, they could be done a little differently, a little bit better, so now you're horizontal, your work, your ads. The other part too is unfortunately, like compressing your video, like if you did like a house tour or, you know, something about how you're selling this home, that one's probably going to be horizontal, but you can tell everybody has those, right? Like I see advertisements for listings all the time. They're always showing horizontal. If I was taking you through a walk through that property, showing you how we got this home ready, and then boom, the before after pics going after, that'd be great to do vertical. So hopefully that helps just a little bit around like, okay, a lot of things said. So what are you saying, Justin? Instagram, Facebook, your storytelling, you're just talking vertical. Okay, more people will listen. If you're selling, most likely it's going to be in that advertisement landscape. Make sense, Posy?
Yeah, no, that's definitely helpful for sure.
And then YouTube obviously is educational. So it's more of your how. So it just depends on really, YouTube's a whole nother animal, but Instagram and social, I hope that helps. Great question. What else? That was a good one. Prediction time. I love it. All right. So as most of you guys know, and some of you might not, is that when I exited real estate to make coaching my career and my life path, the goal with that was the fact that you can only prioritize so many things. What do? Something has to be one, something has to be two, something could be three. There's two rules of thumbs in business. You have specialization and generalization. I've always shared this with the teams I coach. You can be a great leader. It's hard to be a great leader if you're always out showing homes though. If you're a listing agent and you just pop by for an appointment real quick and you're back at the office, it makes it a lot easier to stay in production, i.e. agent, be team leader, and then train and develop underneath, meaning teacher. So you can still have subsets of your specialization, but it's hard to go so far to the right, so far to the left. So for me, businesses and helping people formulate them led to a good subset of, hey, I'm not out of real estate by any means. I don't produce, I refer business out. We hire, train, and develop people in mortgage and real estate. So what I'm sharing with you real quick is I want to make sure you know the resource that I'm giving you is so then that way you can test something. It's not to sell something. What I mean by that is most of you guys know you're my coaching client, but we've talked about these products, right? And what I'm bringing up is the product of what people are going to need. So the bad news is listings are at record low. And when you really take that into context, some of you guys haven't seen this slide right here, is when we say low, a lot of us have been doing this a lot longer, since 2019, but January of 2019, May, all right, of 2020, we had 4 months of inventory, upwards to 5 months of inventory. So when you're thinking about the market you're in right now, and some of you guys are kicking so much ass, that's just because, look, congratulations, look how much your skill set has increased, you know what I mean, in offer negotiation just over the last couple of years. But look where we are now. We are 2 months of inventory as a nation, and some of like these competitive markets, there's like not even homes available. Just, you know what, in the next 10 days, if nobody lists, there's actually gonna be none. So I bring this up because if you listen to the 2022 January National Housing Market Update from Keeping Current Matters, they said that there's one thing that is going to be the source of helping people make a decision this year, and that is educating and unlocking them on where they're at with their equity. Okay, meaning that a lot of people don't exactly know where I'm at with my equity. And instead of saying, do you want to buy or sell in a crazy market, you can ask questions like, what would you do if you could do whatever you wanted, knowing that you're sitting on $600,000, Lacey? Well, gosh, you know, I mean, if the market was better, we definitely would move up. Okay, now we're kind of unlocking this dream, removing this reality, which is just there's no homes available. So a lot of people, when you're talking to them, is that I don't know why I'm not doing anything right now. I would upgrade, rates are still good. I heard they're changing. Now I got all this distraction. I hear you can't find a home. I don't want to be homeless and not be able to sell mine. You know, like, shoot, Mark, what do we do? And this is where we need to get creative in our financing. And Posy, you and I have already talked about this. We were talking about Ribbon. We were talking about Easy Knock, all these companies. But the problem is these companies aren't connected to you, right? Like, you're selling somewhere else. So what I want to show you is just simply put, as CoreLogic was saying, here's the home equity report. They're saying the average home equity gain for US homeowners with mortgages was $60,000 last year. Now that's small markets, high markets, other markets. You think about if you took 85,000, I'm going to take this in more of like a middle market versus the nation, $85,000 that you gained last year, Mark. If interest rates go up by 0.5% or 1%, and you're having to spend $200 to $400 more a month on this mortgage payment, how many years would it take of that higher mortgage payment for you to give back the equity you made last year that caused the rates to rise? And it's 17 years. Okay, meaning when we start thinking about that, well, gosh, I guess the rates aren't that big of a deal, are they, Mark? Well, no, like, I guess we wouldn't have been in this situation if I didn't make $75,000, $85,000 last year. That's going to allow me to leverage my money to move into a new market. So I bring this up because as you look at, well, what are your options? I went to a Think Different mastermind and Ben Kinney was there. He created Brevity, the CRM, right? He's a billionaire, very smart guy, has a lot of KW expansion teams, K. And he said, here's what real estate agents are going to be needing to do. They need to make sure that they can be a part of the monetization of the whole transaction. What he meant by this was that, and you guys have heard it from Tom, he's saying that commissions are already getting compressed. We're experiencing that, okay? But his fear is that every single transaction, 42% of them, is going to come with some type of referral fee, meaning all these big businesses are coming in and they're getting the people and they're saying, hey, I'll refer them to you, Michael. But at the end of the day, you're going to pay me X percent. Now, you guys know because Zillow Flex does that. OpCity does that. You know, there's these lead sources that do that. So he's saying you need to create repeat referral business. And if there's anything that involves money in this transaction, you need to be at the resource of who they go to. So then that way you're able to be the referral. versus people bringing them to you. So Posy, the challenge with like Knock and Ribbon, all those companies we were talking about, which what these companies do is they unlock equity. So all these people sitting on a lot of equity, they unlock that for them to create different financing that allows them to not be contingent, offer cash, and just right away, I know you guys have raised your hand and give me thumbs up, but if we could offer cash the majority of the time and not be contingent, we're winning more contracts, right? More people are in the market, leveling up, leveling down, more people are in the market. The problem is big business doesn't have trust. Okay, so like they have these awesome offerings, but here's the challenge is if inventory doesn't increase, and I don't see where it's going to come from, just meaning being honest with all of us, like, look, I'd like to be optimistic and say, yeah, we're going to get a ton of inventory, but just there's no indications. You guys already just saw this slide. I mean, if you're following this graph right here, we're just down at the bottom right now. And it might take us 2 or 3 years to come back up to the top. That 2 or 3 years gives time for big business to gain trust. Okay, meaning, you know what, right away, we couldn't take advantage of the market for the product we were offering, but give us 2 or 3 years without you experts sharing, talking, and having this product yourself, we might be able to catch up to you a little bit with the consumer. And so all of this is in the mortgage industry, meaning that the mortgage companies are creating this creative financing, capturing the lead and then saying, here you go. Or we're the lead and they're saying, use this product. So what I want you guys to be able to see, and I've talked to you about this, Mark and some other people, is Modern Market Solutions. This is a mortgage company that we own and something that they offer to the agents in the areas we serve, okay? I just want you guys as coaching clients to be able to go, well, Justin, send me this link. I want to try it on my property or other things, because for some of you, it's relative, some of you, it's not. So some of you guys in Arizona, you already know this. Open Door, Zillowflex, Easy, HomeGo, Opio, like every new partner in the industry is coming after your client. Some of us, Mark, like you're saying, hey, kind of nice. We do things a little different around here. It's not as easy to get into. Is some markets are a little bit more sheltered from these, you know, these ventures and these companies are doing it. But at the end of the day, if you're sheltered, but you could offer it, now you're unlocking a whole nother competitive advantage saying, hey, I'm bringing this to market versus a lot of us who are having to compete with it. So you guys know I'm in Colorado, Arizona, like the epicenter for startup and real estate and mortgage. So it's just why, hey, we have to deal with some of these things. So Ian, my partner over at Match Home Loans, is on this call as he has some people, you know, that are learning about these things too. But what the goal is for you to be able to bring every option to a client. What are those options? There'd be 3 of them. The way that we all do it, right? Meaning open market. Okay, Lacey, I'm going to a listing appointment. I need to buy, but I have to sell. Perfect. We're going to get you home ready. We're going to get like a 60-day post occupancy. But at the end of that, you got to move out of your home. Or we do something like, hey, we'll make it contingent upon you finding a replacement, but then we're not going to get as many buyers who want your home. It's almost like any way that I do it on the market doesn't sound attractive, to be honest. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like I am going to take advantage and maximize this market, which is what leads me and many experts to believe this is just why we don't have a lot of inventory. Okay. We're just, doesn't sound perfect for me. So what you're trying to do is say, I got the perfect option. All right. You don't want to risk your home. You want to find a new one. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take you through my company's offer program. You could call it whatever you want. All right. I just call it Modern Market Solutions. You could call it something way cooler, but the Modern Market Solutions is, I'm just going to submit your address and all those companies I just showed you are going to send me an offer on your home. And what you'd be amazed is right now, because most experts are believing home values are going to keep going up and big business is dumping money into real estate, that they're actually offering you market value or above. Now, here's the nice part is that by me collecting these, you get to control the narrative. You also get to control the commissions. So the agents that I trained doing this, and then whenever I've worked with customers, is that the average commission that the agent retains is about 3.8%. So Tom talked about how do you make more money? Sell more units, increase your commission, or add a higher sales volume to your purchase price or the place that you're doing. This allows you to say, hey, Open Door gives me a 1% referral fee. I still collect 2.8%. Why? Because would you have ever even known about this program if an expert wasn't bringing it to you? Don't discount the fact of my expertise or knowledge and advisory due to the fact that it became a little bit easier, right? Who here drives a Mercedes? Jay, you got a Mercedes? You look like a fancy guy with a Mercedes. No? All right, I apologize for stereotyping you. I just figure that beautiful hair should have a Mercedes. So the interesting part about this is like, I'm not angry that Mercedes costs me more because it's nicer, cleaner, gets places fat, you know, like what it is that's the brand I want. So for all of us, what I'm just sharing here is the fact that we need to make sure we have, last Tuesday, we talked about market intelligence. We need to back that up with some programs. So for all of us, check out Easy Knock, Knock, K-N-O-C-K. Easy Knock is easy, K-N-O-C-K, and Ribbon. Okay, I want you guys to all become certified with them. What these companies do is everything I'm talking about. Now, what you can do is team leaders, owners, brokers, other things. There's a company called Zavvy, Z-A-V-V-I-E. A little bit more expensive, but you get to own the product. All right, and you can start creating some of these. So what happens is, Lacey, is when you submit this, and I'm gonna send you guys the link so you can test it, just so you have information on how to do this, all right, is Open Door, Wedgwood, Redfin Now, it doesn't matter, whatever investors are in your market, plus private investors, they send you offers. So you're literally gonna get offers right away for your listing appointment you're going on. Now, the nice part with those offers is that they're cash. So let me give you an example. We had a client, they wanted to buy a home, so they were getting a loan. However, they don't have an agent and they don't want to be homeless. Well, Open Door gave them an offer that was about $30,000 higher than the agent that we sent them to. CMA came out at. Why? The market's so crazy right now, Mark, right? It's like, look, you've been doing this 35 years. You're like, I promise you, we can sell the home for 800. Oh my gosh, it just went for 870. This has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not great at what I do. I just want you to know the market's doing some stuff that I don't, as a real estate agent, price based off optimism. I price based off of comps and relative information, but in a crazy market, sometimes a crazy thing can happen. So what this allowed them to do is have a cash offer. So now they can go offer non-contingent because this is a guaranteed transaction. They can time their same day delivery. They can with companies versus people, right? The challenge is you get a buyer's agent and a family who's planning on buying your client's listing, and you go, we need 2 more weeks. Not an easy thing to negotiate, you know? Whereas with these companies, they don't care. Like, look, we don't need to close on the home today. We don't care if we close on the home. Yeah, we'll extend another 30 days. We'll extend another 30 days. But here is the closing line. This is the one that blows my mind. Your seller can cancel. All right, so like, let's just go try to play in the market. Are you happy with this offer? It's guaranteed, it's cash. Here's the best thing, Posy, is that honestly, if we take a buyer's offer in the standard open market, you're obligated to be under contract with them. You can't just say, we don't want to sell anymore without some level of risk. So now you go, all right, I just unlocked the risk-free part of this to where they could exit. Now, I want you guys to know, I'm not happy doing business with Open Door. I'm not happy doing business with these other companies. It's just that if you don't have enough business right now, this might be the world we have to play in to say, hey, I guess I'm going to leverage some of these other companies to do some of these things. Now, that's just option A. When you start looking at Easy Knock and AmeriFirst and some of these other companies that I'll educate you more on over time, is that some of them, when they look at how much equity your client has, they're actually buying their replacement property with cash, knowing that they're already pre-approved. And then they just basically change title and a couple other things after they've closed on the home, and they've allowed your client to win properties because the financing and terms, they understand that they are a good borrower. So again, we're not going to learn everything today on this, but what I want you to just know from Tuesday, we talked about market intelligence. It's not just being an expert on knowing the market, it's also having solutions for their problems in the market. What can I do to help you figure out how do we unlock equity and potentially get you into the market, at least shopping? you'll have these slides so you can kind of see these things, but ultimately what it is you can show them, here is all this information I have. Here's the offers. Here's the things we got. Now we could take these ones. We could work with this bridge. We could work with this full cash. Now they all come with different terms. I'll give you an example. Mark, one of them charges a 1.5% service fee. That's it. As long as they get 1.5%, they're giving your borrower cash and they can go buy cash. Why?
No interest carry,
No interest carry. Okay.
1.5, that's it.
1.5. Not bad, right? If I use the context of market intelligence. Mark, you're giving 1.5% away to be playing in this market when you made 17% last year. All right. So just again, when we put in context, it's just a matter of whether or not people want to be in this market. And here's the nice part. We know that a lot of times we can just do this our normal way. It's just what will get them off the couch to start playing and looking at homes and knowing that we've got 6 or 7 solutions as an expert to help you with this. And so obviously Ian, who is a partner of mine, these are things that he can offer. There's other companies all across the country that can offer it. So I just want to make sure you guys know, hey, if I didn't know about this stuff, thanks, coach. I'm going to look in this a little bit more. I got to start figuring some of these things out. Remember, you'll learn the foundation of it by becoming Knox certified and Easy Knox certified. Like they are big companies, just like you can kind of learn what online leads are if you just learn Zillow. Okay, Zillow, Real.com. Okay, I get the idea, but they're all a little different. They cost a little different. They're okay, but I get it. I'm gonna start having more business because finally I got some leads coming in. Same ideas. Okay, I'm gonna have more business because I have more options now on behalf of, you know what I mean? We just brought it internally because I don't like working with third parties. I have more control internally, but at the end of the day, the third parties are great, guys. If you don't have any of it, the third parties are awesome. So what you end up doing, and this is when you guys test this, you'll see you'll get all these offers and then you kind of optimize them. Like Tom was saying, optimize your videos. Well, optimize the offers, Mark. Which one works best for your situation? We could do the bridge. We could do this. We could do this. And next week, we're going to talk about personality types. We know that some people are going to be like, ooh, I'm analytical and I'm looking at these numbers. I don't like that option. Why? Because I'm paying an extra $1,100 using that one, but I'll do this one. And you're like, that makes no sense to me, but whatever. We can go with that product. Now you're catering to people's personality style, but at least you have market intelligence versus marketing, right? Meaning options to provide for them. So what happens is you provide the details. They can go ahead and actually gather information. So I'll give you one example. Let's just say one of the companies said, oh my gosh, I got a great offer on your property. We need some more pictures. So Lacey, if you can get a client who's thinking about selling, but they're on the fence because of the market, if they start taking pictures and send that to you, what does that start making them become?
True sellers.
Yeah. Okay. It's prospecting. It just allows the person to start taking steps without feeling like they've committed to an agent to sell. So a lot of this is just a new way to prospect, to say, are you interested in learning what your offer would be? Mark, would you like to see in 2022 how many offers and what those would be based off these big companies, my company included? Sure. And now what does it do? It gives us something to talk about when right now all there is to talk about is how there's no homes and rates are going up, right? That's basically all anybody's talking about. No homes, rates going up, versus let's talk about your equity, check in. You want to see what you could potentially get. Then from there, being able to talk more about what that looks like. So I stopped my share. Appreciate your guys' time. I know the last part's like, wow, this is a lot. But in my opinion, you guys know I love hearing from Tom because he's like, hey, 42% are going to have referrals in the next couple of years. Mark my word. Commission compression's coming. Mark my word. 5 years ago, teams are on the rise. Mark my word. Like, I have bowed down to Tom. I'm marking his word. I listen to him. Okay. And I also do believe what Ben was talking about, which is just, we got to have some more of these tools that all these big companies are going to be offering, because if inventory doesn't increase, we need to find a way to unlock some people's opportunity to take advantage of creative financing. And I put a little mark here because I know some of you have been doing this a long time. I said, creative financing of the new era, not high interest, but high intent. What I mean is my intent is to be creative to help you with your goal, not creative financing of the past, which was high interest rate, high fees. I'm borrowing hard money to make things happen. This is really just the new era that we're entering into, which is, man, Mark, can you remember a time in your history where you had literally 4 years of a seller's market all the way down to literally 10 days of inventory?
Not 4 years, not 4 years, but
I was hoping you weren't going to throw me under the bus. I was like, he's got to be the guy. He's going to do this for like 30 years. And there, you're right. It's just new.
One of the things that this can do, and I used to use this years ago, and in good or bad markets, I used to say to my client, let's not worry about what we get for your house or what you're paying for the other house, or even what your interest rate is. We're going to take the house you want to sell and the house you want to buy and stick it in a bucket and stir it up. And when it's all done, you get the house you want and the house you have sold. And you're
well
okay
said,
with
my friend. Well said. Bake a cake. So here's the nice part. Next week, we're going to be talking about personality types and unique selling propositions. So Mark, I hope you'll be on the unique selling proposition, because I'd love to hear how you guys would sell this, right? Because it really is what people are looking for. If you talk to them, well, let me ask you, if I had a way that we could secure the safety of staying in your home, you could find your replacement one, and you'd make as much money as possible and save on where rates are and what's going to happen over the next decade, would that be worth 15 minutes of your time? Sure. Okay, cool. And I'm pretty sure there's a better way to sell that. And I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you very much. So guys, I got to jump on a coaching call in 4 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Any other questions you guys got?
Hey, so it's Fozzie, not so much a question, but I need to get the recaps. I don't think I've been getting those recaps. And then a comment. I really feel like this information is a game changer, especially for somebody in my position who is doing, whatever type of video, whatever social platforms that we're using, but looking for content, and specifically content that we can create along the lines of educating clients or customers on the selling side, rather than just, like buyer tips and that sort of thing. So finding specific content for sellers or to win listings, I think this could be, it will be for me, it's going to be huge. Like, this is basically a new, I don't even know what to call it, but a campaign that I'm going to start, with this information. And I can already tell what the results are going to be like. So I'm excited.
Yep. Posy, we partner with the real estate team in Georgia and South Carolina. So we partner with them on mortgage and real estate. So the link I'm going to send all of you guys, so you could just play with this. Some of you actually might be able to use it. Like, you're going to put your email in to collect the offers. And I know Atlanta, you will be able to. So that you can still use. So I just don't know which each of your state has all of the competition, you know what I mean? But every one of you, I would recommend submit your own personal property on it, put all of your contact information, and start working through it. See what the offers are, see what you get, learn how to do that. And then you'll figure out where you need to do that, right? Like, hey, is there a local lender here that has this bridge option? Because I think I got the tool now that I could use to capture the lead, but now I need the financing, right? Like, where's the companies that I'm gonna work with? But that is the Easy Knox, the Knox, the Maris First. And if you guys need help, just email me. Hey, Justin, what are a couple of those? We'll have them in our calls and whatnot. But you're 100% right, Posy. It's what we need to be talking about as local people, because it's gonna come down on the digital side from big companies. And as soon as they feel like they can't accomplish their goals with us, that's where the lead goes to them, because they have a product that was attractive enough. And I think people are going to get to a pain point eventually of like, look, I got all this money. I do want to make a change. How the heck do I do it? Our message needs to come out first. So, all right, guys, always fun being with you. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week.